Hello and welcome back to Oh No, Not Another Podcast. This episode, I dive into Fortnite ZA, and with me, I'm joined by Kareem Khan and Zach Mayer, two extraordinaires in their own right in the Fortnite South Africa scene. In this episode, we touch on topics such as Fortnite South Africa and the scene around it, a little personal touch about themselves, and of course, the greater esports of Fortnite and how it fits in with the casuals who play the game as well. Hope you guys enjoy this episode. I am joined by Zach and Kareem, and you know what? Kareem is a legend, man. This guy is the Fortnite wonder kid. I've written articles with him and stuff. And then Zach, I don't have a super epic intro for you. I'm not gonna lie, and there's good reason for it, right? Okay, I didn't know that people who are not 12 play Fortnite.
That's understandable. That's understandable. Okay.
I'm just teasing.
Kareem's also not 12, but like I know he looks 12, but like yeah.
It's understandable as well.
How are you doing tonight, Kareem?
I'm great in yourself. It's great to be on podcast today with Zach.
What a stand-up gentleman. Kareem, you happy to be here? I mean, sorry, Zach rather.
Yeah. I'm happy to be here as well.
All right, sweet. So let's get the viewers some insight into who you guys are. Kareem, you wanna start? Give your background in like esports South Africa, what you do, who you are, all the important things.
Okay, so I play for Bravado. I'm part of the Fortnite team. I've been playing Fortnite since its release, and I've done super well in most of the South African tournaments. I think I'm the highest earner in South Africa, and I'm 15.
Wow. All right, so not 12, but 15. So he's a 15-year-old wonder kid.
12 though, but yeah.
16 in 17 days. 17.
Oh, I'll remember to wish you for your birthday on Twitter. And Zach, what's your story in South African esports?
Basically, I'm a Fortnite player for the HK, and I've played in a bunch of tournaments as well, won a couple of tournaments, and I just try and compete at the highest level in Fortnite. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So both of you guys, I mean, I think the Fortnite competitive scene, I might be wrong, might be right about this, only started about, let's say 1.5 years ago, like halfway through last year, we started seeing events for Fortnite in South Africa, correct?
Yep.
100%.
So in that time, Kareem, how much money actually have you on?
Like 90K.
What?
Yeah, he's won a lot. A lot.
That's insane. Zach, I know that's a big number to top, but how much have you got?
I won around about like 15 to 20. Not as much, but it's like somewhere around there.
It's really impressive. Like I think that's awesome. I've been involved for 3 years. I've made less money than both of you guys. Don't stress about it. So my first question for you guys is, what are some non-gaming facts that people would, if there's one non-gaming fact rather, what is that one that you'd like people to know about? Zach, you can start. Other than the fact that you have graffiti on your door.
I don't know. I feel like I'm a hard worker. I don't know, in like academically wise, and that's just one fact.
All right.
Yeah.
Very respectable. Kareem, your one crazy fact.
I used to play a lot of sport before gaming. I was pretty decent at soccer. I went overseas a couple of times with soccer as well.
Wow.
A while ago though.
You know, it's you'll be surprised how many esports players internationally and locally come from the sports background into esports. It like always boggles my mind.
Yeah, it happens often actually. Yeah.
I think for me, I was like bad at sport, then I started playing games, and I'm bad at games as well. So I guess it makes sense. All right, so next one. This is a spicy one. Okay, what fact, Zach, does Kareem not want anybody to know about that you can give us some juice with here in the podcast?
Kareem doesn't like being wrong. That's one fact. He doesn't like being wrong. To be honest. Yeah.
Kareem, you can get him back now.
No.
Zach's very smart.
That's
but in an egoistic way.
Oh.
What do you mean?
But it comes across like, it's just sad.
I don't know what he's talking about. I'm very humble. I'm just letting you know.
It's funny. So you guys basically actually have the same answer for each other. He says, you say he doesn't like being wrong, and he says you're right, but you're egotistical about it.
This is why we had a lot of as duo partners, because we both thought we were right
Ah.
in every like situation.
Look, I'm no expert in Fortnite. I don't know how you guys were as a duo partner, but on Twitter, you guys are like my favorite Twitter couple. You guys are like a Twitter power couple, like the Brangelina of ZA Esports.
100%.
Ah. All right, so Fortnite is a game I actually like to talk a lot about. On the Esports Central podcast, I talk about it endlessly. Even though I never played the game, I don't particularly like playing it myself, but I find the whole concept of it and the phenomenon that it is like very interesting. So, Kareem, I'm going to ask you first, what makes Fortnite a special game to you?
The mechanics are probably the coolest thing about it. Like the fact that you're not able to just rely on your aim and you can build your way out of a situation or edit your way out of a situation.
All
I
right.
really like that.
And Zach, on your end?
Yeah, Fortnite just really brings it like a different aspect to like the whole esports like vibe, because I used to play competitive Call of Duty back before I started playing competitive Fortnite, and like that it was fun, but like there was something missing from it. Like I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but yeah,
Yeah.
Fortnite just brings that, like it brings a different level of like intensity to it because of all the things that you need to learn, the building, everything, like every little thing. If you mess it up, it could cost you like it could cost you a death, could cost you like a couple points, and it could make like a big difference to your scoreline at the end of the day. Yeah.
All right. Those are some good points all around. Now, Fortnite, I introduced you guys as esports players. I believe personally that Fortnite's an esport, but it's quite a hot topic, right? It's debated a lot whether Fortnite is an esport, is the Battle Royale genre considered an esport. My personal definition for esport is just like something that people do like competitively. Like I think card games is a good example of that, like TCGs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of luck and stuff involved, but the top guys will consistently top the events because they're just so good at it, right? So I think Fortnite is a similar thing. If you look at the likes of yourself and Kareem, you guys have maybe not playing in the best polished esport, but you guys do a lot in the tournaments you compete in consistently.
Yeah,
so,
100%.
So I talk a lot about the esports aspects of Fortnite, but I'm just me, right? I don't really know Fortnite. So I want to ask you guys, maybe Zach, you can start, is what do you think Fortnite, like where do you think it fits in the esports scene? Like, do you think it's an esports ready title? Is there flaws? Is there things they can improve on? Or where do you go with that?
To be honest, when I started playing, because I came from COD, like I thought battle royales were too like RNG to be like esports.
Yeah.
But like once you start actually playing it and start competing and start thinking about like what you're doing, what you need to do next, there's so much that goes into it. That's like it. Sure, there's like RNG, but there's RNG in like every single game. Like you can't stop it. Obviously,
sure.
Fortnite maybe there's a little more, but like yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's just that it's. I think it is like 100% like esports ready, and I feel like it's like getting into it now and playing it properly. Like you learn so much things, so much different like aspect. There's so much different like aspects to it that you have to learn. That you can see it's just not just RNG based. It's like you can see like all the top players, they perform consistently and stuff, and it's like I don't know. It's to me it's like it's definitely an esports like 100%.
All right. Kareem, where do you sit on the fence of this?
So like, I feel like Epic Games likes to keep the game at a casual point of view, but at the same time they try to keep it competitive with tournaments and stuff, and they like trying to find that sweet spot. So I don't think it's esports ready just yet, but it's definitely like it's got the potential to be.
Yeah, I was also thinking about that same thing, because they add new things into the game all the time that sort of like they sometimes like mess with the competitive like aspect. But if I was thinking like a suggestion to them, it would just be like if they add something new into the game, they try it out in public matches like a little bit, and then see if it's like good enough, if it's okay to like throw in competitive. Like if you get what I'm saying.
Right.
That's just a suggestion that I was thinking about for that.
I completely get where you guys are going with this, and you guys actually already treading on to the next part of this question. Is that I think we've also seen that video where those guys win that college Fortnite comp or whatever, and then the guy interviews them and he asks them, "So what's your guys' future in esports?" In Fortnite esports, is like this game. It's a great game, but the esports aspect of it sucks. We're not gonna play it much longer. And I was like, whoa! But I think that's consistent criticism they get, right? They do things like they drop these OP ass weapons coming into before their major events, the qualifiers, that sort of thing. So for you guys as esports competitors, what do you think when what is the most recent one they announced, the drone strike? When that thing came up, what is your guys' thoughts on that?
The airstrike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, to be honest, like at first I thought the thing was gonna be like extremely OP and overpowered like completely, but to be honest, it like I don't think it does. I don't think it does like a lot of damage, but it's really helpful at like end zones. Like when you just throw it down and then there's people on high ground and then it just does damage to them. It's the way to like counter high ground, which I think is needed also. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Like that's not particularly one of the worst like things they've added, but like in
yeah.
the past they've done some crazy things like change the map a day before a tournament or something.
Yo, okay, yeah.
So it's pretty crazy like what they do, but I feel like most competitive players play the game enough to like get used to the new thing before something happens beforehand.
Yeah, 100%.
Sometimes they can do it a little bit.
Too late.
Yeah.
All right. Because I think like Zach's suggestion of like if they release a new feature, it's okay if it's in the casual game, because I think we can all agree that Fortnite is the biggest thing in the world at the moment in terms of a casual game,
Yeah.
right? That's not
Yep.
disputable. Even if you like it or you don't like it, that's undisputable. But on terms of like the changes in the competitive scene in terms of esports from your guys' point of view, I think Zach is what he says is completely correct, because in like a Dota side, when you have a new hero come into the game, it's out. You can play it in pubs, you can play it in your rank, but if you're playing a competitive game mode in a tournament and playing captain's mode, the hero is not available. You can't play it there yet because they're still trying to figure it out, balance the game. So I feel like maybe Fortnite could learn and do that in the future. But
Yes.
I also feel like at times it feels like they don't even care about the esport in terms of like the competitive point of view. As from player perspective, how do you guys feel about that? Kareem, maybe you want to go first there.
I do feel like they care about the esport side of things, but I also feel like they care a bit too much about the casual side of things. They should stick to keeping new guns out of ranked play and then introducing it once everyone's like kind of used to it, and because it just screws up everything once they add something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Guys, my dad might come into my room in like 10 seconds because he just got home. So
I'm not cutting it. We're gonna see your dad on the video. I'm joking.
can I just mute my mic and tell
Go
him I'm
for
doing?
it. Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah.
So Zach, you wanna add to that while our boy Kareem's is AFK?
Wait, what was the question again? Just repeat it so I can.
On the
Yeah.
feeling of Epic Games and how they deal with the esports side, is there like frustration for you in terms of like some of the things they're a bit lax on and they're only focusing on the casual, or do you think it's okay? Like, what did you change from that?
I think it's good to focus on like some casual aspects, and I do honestly. Sometimes I really get frustrated at how much they can change. Like before, like in seasons from season 8 to season 9, they completely changed the meta. Like they took out the pump and they put in like a new combat shotgun. They completely changed the meta. And the worst thing about that was before, like it didn't really matter on the like global scale, but for South African tournament, there was this big tournament coming up, the Bravado Gaming tournament.
Yeah.
And it was just before that. So like we had to get used to that really quickly. But yeah, I think it's good that they like focus on the casual aspect, because to be honest, like a lot of like the esports like players, like competitive players, they start out as casual and they build that passion from casual. So casual players really they do matter a lot. But yeah, I think they do need to like focus up on their esports though. Like they do mess around with it like a lot of times, and they've done it before a lot of times. But yeah.
That's a fair point, and I think the casual.
Yeah.
It is important that you deal with the casual. I think where my biggest frustration comes through with Epic is that it's not like a new thing that you need to balance the game differently for casuals and differently for esports, right? Because we've seen esports running for many years now. CS:GO scene's been running for 20 years. The Dota scene last 10 years. Even League of Legends finally figured out how to balance their game. So they could have taken notes from the mistakes of past TOs and games and then kind of addressed that. But it is what it is. Hopefully it does get sorted. I hope it's not a case of like 2 years from now we're having the same conversation.
Yeah, hopefully. I think Epic are the type of place to like build on what they're doing. I don't think they will just like sit back and relax. I think they will actually try and like improve.
Okay.
Well, hopefully, yeah.
I mean that's the most important thing, right? Kareem, your mic's muted.
I was just watching him like speak and
it was so serious.
I was like
kind of like fund the esports players if you think about it, because most of the money comes from them.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's
Gotta keep it fresh for them as well. Yeah.
and it's a tie-in thing the other way around too, because when you're having these big tournaments, the likes of the Overwatch World Cup and the Dota TI and stuff, it attracts other eyes to be like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
let's try this game now. So
Yeah.
both aspects are really important.
Yeah.
So
they like feed into each other.
for sure. So on the local esports side of things, I think obviously this Fortnite hasn't been going for hundreds of years, but in there you guys are both pretty experienced there. So how are you guys experienced so far being, I don't know, Fortnite semi-pros or pros in South Africa? I don't know how to put it. I don't think anybody's a pro in South Africa, but Fortnite players in SA, how's it been so far? Kareem, you can start.
It's been really like cool to be part of something new because it's like obviously my first like game playing out that I'm playing competitively. I do feel like some tournaments aren't run very smoothly, others are run like amazingly, and I like everyone at lands. I love our scene. I like how friendly people are. It's really sick, really dope.
It's good to hear. So, but Zaki's a bit biased because we know he just told us he won 90k in the last year. So obviously he
so
enjoys
obviously he's
it.
gonna like it a little bit more. But yeah.
So from your aspect, how you enjoyed your local journey so far?
I really like it because I come from COD obviously, so I've seen like I've been in a scene before. Like and when I played in COD, I was like sort of like on the top level. Like I played maybe top 6 team in Call of Duty. So, but going from there and coming to Fortnite, it's just that I feel like the scene is much bigger, and that helps so much with the actual like players. Like it helps like inspire more players to like continue playing and to try and get to the best. And I really like that like competitive aspect in like a community, and I feel like our ZA community has that aspect. So I really like it as well.
That's pretty awesome, and I think, like, I don't know if it's because you guys are a new esport or you guys are just a cool bunch of lads in the Fortnite world, but if I look at you guys tweet, the way you guys support each other, the way you guys publicize your own game, how active you guys are on social media in general, it's really good. It's probably the best social esport in South Africa, if I just had to put it out like that, to put it quite frankly. Like, I follow CSGO, I follow Dota, I follow a lot of things, and you guys, if I go on Twitter and I see you guys on Twitter, it's like, oh, okay, the Fortnite scene looks nice. If I go to Dota Twitter, non-existent. If I go to CSGO Twitter, people are fucking hating each other. So Fortnite Twitter is like a good place.
Yeah, we're all trying to support each other, and we all try and improve just so that we can like compete maybe in an international level sooner or later.
Yeah.
So
it's really awesome.
All have a common goal.
And in terms of the international stuff, I know the World Cup qualifiers run. I'm not completely sure exact dates, but you guys compete in that kind of stuff, right?
Yes.
So have either of you qualified, or the other players in Fortnite South Africa, have people qualified for the World Cup?
No one's qualified for the World Cup, but there were a few in South Africa that made top 2%. Top 2% to qualify for the second night. And
they
that was very
reached the final stage of the qualifiers, which is a really impressive like feat in itself.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
to qualify for the World Cup after that, you have to come like in duos, you have to come like top 4 in the whole of Europe, and
so it's very difficult.
For solos you have to come top 8, which is, to be honest, really difficult on our ping. Also, it's like it's a big factor. So even qualifying for the final round, like there's some Europeans, like people say the commentators, the casters in Fortnite, they say like if you're qualifying for the final stage, you're already like the top level of Fortnite in your region. And us, we play in the European region, so our region, to be honest, the European region is the most difficult region in the whole of Fortnite.
Every
so to do that, and in every esport, true. But to do that and to be on 150 ping, I feel like that's like a good feat in itself.
Yeah, it was very well done from some of us.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that, and I think I actually had this conversation with Shian, a FIFA player from Goliath, and I was like, so in terms of skill wise, how do you think you guys match up against like international competition? Because he's played international competition. He says skill wise, he doesn't think there's actually a difference between South African FIFA players and pro FIFA players. It's just the fact that they have constant experience playing on the top level all the time. So it would also be cool. Like I think if like, I know we all saw the Bravado Gaming Destiny project last year where the CSGO team got to go over for 6 months, stay, live there. I want to see like a gaming house somewhere in the States or Europe, and you just coil like 5 FIFA players there, a couple of Fortnite players there, and just let you guys duke it out in like low ping. That would be awesome.
Really sick. That would be really sick. Yeah, 100%. I would love that. To be honest, like going overseas for a Fortnite player in South Africa is a big thing just because of the ping drop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
makes so much
totally evolves your
such a
game.
big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, what would be cool is maybe in the future if Fortnite are running other competitions as well as the World Cup, and then they have like qualifiers for like specific regions, and Africa gets its
Mhm.
own region. It'll
They,
be massive.
yeah,
Yeah,
they
it'll be
released an
so massive.
article about that. But I don't know if it's like a legitimate thing. But they said like in the near future they want to host tournaments for regions that don't have servers.
Whoa.
Sure, that
Scout
would be really sick.
potential. I doubt it's gonna happen anytime soon, but
Yeah, probably
so yeah.
be a while, but still having that in the future, that's like
Yeah,
something to work for, something to grind for. I'm
Yeah,
keen.
and I think Fortnite is actually, funny as it may sound, the right game to do that with, because it's like a very accessible game, right? You can play it on mobile, you can play it on your PC, you can play it on PlayStation, you can play PlayStation with PC. Like, it's a very accessible
Yeah.
game. It's free to play. Like, if you want to do something in like underdeveloped regions, like places like the Africa region and stuff, Fortnite's the best game. If they do it for you guys, I'll be so happy for y'all.
that'll
It would be really sick, like 100%.
And if sponsors are listening and they want to put 2 players overseas to play Fortnite competitively, look no further.
Hey, sign me up. I'm keen.
Oh, that would be awesome. All right, so back to the topic of local esports. What is your guys' thoughts on so obviously you guys spoke about how you love the local scene so far, but in terms of tournaments that you went through, I want to hear from each of you what's one positive for the tournament, things you like seeing at the tournaments, and what one thing you think TOs can improve on for in the future for you guys. Kareem, you can start.
I feel like tournament organizers need to understand Fortnite a bit more. A lot of TOs come into the scene not knowing much about Fortnite and just expecting it to be a lot simpler, but it's very difficult because hosting customs, you have to like actually get custom keys. Hosting customs aren't very easy, and it's very difficult to have 100 players at the LAN, whereas with other
Yeah.
games you don't need near as much. So it's a bit of a tricky one.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yep.
And some of the lands, maybe your favorite land or your favorite moment, things you liked at a land, Kareem?
To be honest, my favorite LAN was probably Afri Sports, the second Afri Sport, the Cape Town one, because that was my first ever LAN. It was perfectly organized by ACGL,
Yeah,
and
ACGL
it
are
just
really
got me
superb.
loving esports today. I wouldn't have entered anything if it wasn't for that.
Awesome. That's good shit.
ACGL always pulling through 100%.
I mean, before I throw the question to you, Zach, I also will say,
Yeah.
I look at ACGL, even the way they hosted their mobile Fortnite last year at Rush, because I was working another event there, was like so awesome. There was such a hype there. There was like, it's like a really good job. And ACGL, like probably the most underrated TO in South Africa, they do so much good shit, you know?
100%.
And for all the games that nobody else worries about either, so they're supporting a lot of scenes.
Yeah.
So Zach, for
That's
you,
true.
your favorite esports tournament you played in so far in South Africa?
Sure. I'd probably also say ACGL, just because that's where I first met some of like my closest friends on like in the Fortnite scene. Like I met Kareem there. I met I don't know,
Hey.
Jared January, and I met BVD Pony. All three of them, like they were my closest friends going into the Fortnite scenes from since then. That was like last year September.
All right.
So that's probably my favorite tournament. And then my least favorite tournament
That's a bit spicy. What's something you think you would
Okay.
improve in a
Improve, something
tournament
that
going
I'd
forward?
improve.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'd probably say time management.
All right.
Just like because I don't know, sometimes they start tournaments really late because of certain things, like they couldn't get custom keys, the custom keys aren't working, or for some like weird reason. And also sometimes they end really late because they take unexpected breaks for like a while before, or like people don't get into customs and all of that, and people like just the distribution of the custom keys isn't like good enough. I don't know. Yeah. So time management
There's
would be a
lots of
little.
factors.
Yeah.
Certain TOs.
Yeah. All right. Time
Certain
management.
tiers.
I'll have you guys know.
Yeah.
Obviously, Zach, you've been involved in Call of Duty and stuff. But if you've ever been to a South African esports event, it's a miracle if the thing ever runs on time. It's like we've had
True.
rages in the past that are like delayed by like 6 hours from DDoSs and shit, and that's when all the DGCs VS gaming was going on. So time management is a rough one. But those are good points. I like it from both of you. Here's a question I have for on the flip side. So I asked you about the TO stuff, but from you guys, if you could put out a message to all of the Fortnite community in South Africa, or even the greater esports community in South Africa, what would be that one message? Like, what is one thing you'd like your peers to do? Like, what would be the most important thing? Kareem, you can go first.
Oof, can Zach go first?
No, you on
This
the
is
spot.
okay. Okay.
Put him on the spot.
That our scene, like a lot of people hate on our scene because our game is seen as like a children game, but it low-key has a lot of potential, and people need to stop underrating it just because it's a kid-friendly game, and it will be an esport soon, and I hope it thrives in the future.
All right. I mean, people laugh at your scene, and I make jokes about Fortnite just because it's funny, not because I have anything against it. But you guys have had the most tournaments this year by far, so y'all are winning, huh?
Okay,
Zach?
then mine would be create as much content as you can, because that's the way we pull in like more players, more get a bigger scene, and maybe sooner or later we get servers and we can have like as the players can be as big as they are overseas. But yeah,
All right.
just create as much content as you can. If you like really good, create content. That's what I think. Yeah.
All right. That's a good message to put out there. I think that I would extend that to the broader esports community in South Africa.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
what we
broader
do is
esports.
important, right? It's like
Yeah.
you gotta tweet about your games. You gotta, if you want to write an
Yeah.
article, go contact somebody, go do it, go put up your own blog. It's like that shit's important.
Yeah,
I like the
It
message.
it is very important. The advertising, just getting more players to play and getting the scene bigger, that's like a huge aspect, and it'll help everyone in the
100%.
long run.
And you guys are actually Fortnite again. You guys are the best at this. And I'm not trying to be nice because you guys are here. Like legit, y'all are good on Twitter.
100%, 100%.
All right. This is a spicy question, and I ask this because on every podcast I am on, I end up doing this, right? What's your one unpopular esports opinion about South African esports? Kareem, you go first.
It shouldn't be at the level it is now, because I know a few years back it was a lot bigger. Then and then kind of took like a bit of a downhill slope. Kind of went, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
But
In my back.
I just hope it could get
Yeah.
back to that place it was at a few years back,
All right.
where sponsors would come through. And
You've only been for a year and you're already about the
sponsors, yeah.
So the question, Zach,
Yeah.
was what's your unpopular opinion about South African esports? What's your one opinion that's gonna piss people off? That's the goal, yeah.
Sheesh. I don't know. We need to. Oh, this is a hard question because I don't really. I try and like be positive and like unpopular opinions and all that, but I feel like, to be honest, like we need to.
Zach's too nice.
Yeah, I
Such a
can't.
nice
Like
guy.
I don't have like. Okay, wait. Let me think of something. Like
But it
I
doesn't
feel
have
like
to be a bad thing, but it can be something that people don't agree with, but you think is the way.
I think we need to. We need to like send more players like overseas to compete, like as much as we can. Obviously, that costs a lot of money and
It's
things.
very difficult. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that's what we need to do to get our name out there. Now, I don't think that's an unpopular opinion, but I just think it's like an opinion that not a lot of people like have because they don't really, I don't know, look at like that big of a like perspective. But yeah.
All right. I like it. I'm going to contradict myself here because I'm going to agree with your thing. I think we do need to see like the talents, like the Kareems, like we've had the previous Bravado teams in Dota, like Glorback and Clark, the talented guys. Actually, people support them and put them forward, right? It's not easy, but that's where we need, I think, funding there to go there. But my unpopular opinion in South African esports is going to contradict Kareem's thing because I think we're actually so lucky in South African esports. For the size of our scene and the amount of tournaments we get, it's like we're actually quite lucky. Like, I know a lot of esports have it hard, but like the Dota and Counter-Strike guys, y'all should never complain. In the last 5 years or 10 years, the shit that you guys have gotten, way too much. We don't deserve that, but we get it anyway. So thank you, TOs. Thank you, VS Gaming and all that shit.
You should see the COD scene right now. I don't think they've had a LAN this year, which is like really, it's a low point in our Call of Duty ZA, well, the COD ZA scene, which is really, it's like really, I don't know, heartbreaking to see. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's sad. And it's also like, I know. I'm supposed to be interviewing you guys, but I have another unpopular opinion. It's also like people in South Africa also have this thing like if you play CS:GO, it's like we the main esport, and like COD is like a small esport. Nah, dog, that's not how it works. We all small esports.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. But I think I do believe that Call of Duty is going to get a VS Gaming Championship this year, so they will have a LAN, some good prize money and shit.
Oh, okay, good.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
That's really nice for them.
Because
But
I
you guys-
know EGE, they used
Yeah.
to have that tournament every year last year, and it used to be like a big thing in COD today. Like I remember going, and all of like the COD today people, they were all just like chilling. You don't have to necessarily win to have fun. You can just chill there with your
Right.
friends that you play online all the time with. But yeah,
Yeah.
they're not hosting like a COD tournament, or I don't know
But
what's
it-
happening
but
with
it-
EGE
But
this year.
it's like such a feels bad because when I
Yeah.
first came into the Fortnite scene after that Cape Town tourney, we didn't have
Yeah.
tourneys for like
Yeah.
ages, and COD was
Yeah.
just having tourneys.
Yeah.
So it was like,
Hey.
oh, they're so lucky. Like, now it's just like, hey,
Now
we
it's
feel
like
you.
switched. It's switched.
Yeah, we feel you, COD.
Yeah.
Yeah. COD's got it rough, and there was the whole big scandal about the COD players not getting paid and stuff from that tournament. And
Yeah.
until today,
Yeah.
they still haven't gotten paid. Like,
Yeah. I
man,
remember one of my friends, I think it's WRG Hypes or Kyle Hypes on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's like one of the main people that's affected by that. And I see him tweeting every month, at least once a month. He's like, month likes whatever. Still haven't gotten my EGE money, and everyone just replies to it and just like feels bad or like press F or something on it in the replies.
yeah. Because like, what
Yeah.
more can you do, right? Like we've
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
had the funders and stuff interviewed and stuff on the likes of Esports Central and stuff. And it's like
Mm.
they just like you ask them a question like, yeah, it's gonna come soon. It's gonna come soon. When? Yeah, it's gonna come soon. Like, nah, that money is never coming, man.
It's not coming. Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah,
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for taking the time for joining me this evening. You all are both
Yeah.
phenomenal guests. I'll hope I have you guys on again. So
Yeah.
is there any places I know you guys stream? You guys are competitors. Where's the best place to follow you guys? Kareem, go first.
My Twitch and my Twitter.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the exact same thing. But yeah, go
My
on.
Twitter is at Listed Squeaker, and my Twitch is Kareem Squeaky. You can find
Okay.
that as well on my Twitter, so that's fine.
Mine is the same, Twitter and Twitch. So my Twitter is at ZakDeuce, ZakDeuz. And then my Twitch is twitch.tv/ZMDeuce, even though I don't use Deuce as a gamer tag anymore. But yeah, it's ZMDEUZ.
All right, sweet. And any shout outs before you go? Like shout outs to your guys' orgs, to your moms, to your whatever you want.
Shout out to 80K, and thanks for everything that you're doing for me right now. And Shot for hooking me up with this really good gaming PC so I can compete at the best level. Yep.
Thank you so much, Bravado, for everything. I like the merch is amazing. I wear it more than everything. And
Not
thank
gonna
you
lie,
for
if I had
the
Bravado
equipment,
merch, I'd wear it
everything
as
you
well.
guys hook us up with. It's amazing to be part of the org, and shout out to Fortnite ZA
All right.
for being a great team.
All right. If
Yeah,
Bravado's
100%.
listening, I'll take a Bravado jacket as well. Love the merch. Good shit.
Yeah, same.
And shout out to my dad for not throwing me out of the house yet. You know, good stuff.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Awesome. Thank you guys for joining us. Hope everybody who listened
Yeah,
enjoyed.
100%.
And yeah, hopefully I have another interview with Fortnite today soon. Thank you for listening and goodbye.